Hello everyone and welcome to the video. Today I will give you a quick history of one of the most important boom towns of the 19th century that still lives on today and is considered one of the most haunted places in the world by ghost hunters. Please hit that like button and let's get into the rich history of Virginia City, Nevada. Virginia City is located about 8 miles northeast of Carson City on the Virginia Mountain Range, about 6,148 feet in elevation above sea level, and the center of what was known at the time as the Comstock Lode, America's richest deposit of silver ore. In 1859, this area was named after Henry Comstock, an illiterate miner from Ontario, Canada, who, with Irish miners Peter O'Reilly and Patrick McLaughlin, found the first large amount of silver that began the bonanza. But Comstock sold his holdings too early and failed to cash in on his findings despite the area being named after him, and his Irish counterparts didn't fare much better. He found work as a miner and as a surveyor both independently and for large firms, but both failed to make him the fortune he dreamed of. He purchased a Mormon wife for $66 who would run off just a few years later. He died from suicide by pistol on September 27, 1870 in Bozeman, Montana. However, the discovery of the area cannot be attributed to Henry alone. Not only was there other miners with Henry, but for years before Henry, two men named Hosea and Allen Grosh, brothers from Pennsylvania and veterans of the California Gold Rush, had come into Nevada territory around 1852 and made claims just south of what would be Virginia City. They dug around for a few years but didn't find large amounts of silver until 1857. News of this started to bring miners of the area into the Virginia mountains. But later that year in 1857, Hosea swung his pickaxe, hitting his foot. Hundreds of miles from any medical aid, Hosea's injury became infected and soon made him ill. He died before the winter. His grieving brother Allen wrote his father, "God has seen fit in his perfect wisdom and goodness to call Hosea, the patient, the good, the gently, to join his mother in another and better world than this." His father pleaded for Allen to come home, and Allen obliged, and thought maybe he could try to sell his claim. But a few weeks later, when Allen was crossing the Sierras back into California, he was caught in a blizzard and spent 4 days in the cold without food. He was rescued but badly frostbitten and died a few days later. As the California Gold Rush of 1949 was dying down, people started to look elsewhere to put their mining skills. Many miners came to Nevada looking for gold, and in the Comstock they kept running into this heavy blue metallic substance. Not knowing it to be silver, they disregarded it as useless and were disposing of it until they realized the pesky blue material getting in the way of all their gold digging was actually silver and going to make them very rich. In 1859, more and more people came into the area and more people kept turning up gold and silver. To give you an idea of how rich they were getting, they were estimating over $3,000 per ton in silver and almost $1,000 per ton in gold, at a time when $100 per ton was considered impressive. Larger mining operations came, and with them the businesses followed, and by 1862, between 15,000 to 18,000 people were living in Virginia City and the nearby camps. There were over 80 mills at that time to accommodate all the mines, and the communities boasted having all the amenities one would expect to see in a thriving city. At one point, Virginia City had over 100 saloons and brothels, one of the most famous being the Washoe Club, or the Millionaires Club as it was known back then. This hotel housed some of the most famous people of the time. People like Ulysses S. Grant and Mark Twain would play cards with rich businessmen and politicians, and famous actors and singers of the era. The hotel had secret access ways for prostitutes to sneak into their clients' rooms without being seen. Alrighty guys, so we are in the back of the Millionaires Club. This would have been more of a private area. See, like out here, this is goes out into the bar area. And so this spiral stairs case is very special. It's historic. No, it's one of the only ones in the world built like this, built by a French architect, and there's no support. It's all holding its own weight all the way up, and obviously they don't want anyone going on it because it's a miracle that it's still standing. But this area would have went on to the second floor, which we're gonna go look at after this, and I'll show you where Mark Twain play cards with presidents of the time. And let's go back in here and check out the crypt. So the reason this is called the crypt is because it was one of the cold cellars during the summer. But in the winter, since we're way up in the elevation, the ground would be frozen. It would be too hard to dig. So they would keep bodies. Oh, hi. Sorry, I didn't know anybody was in there. You scared me. I thought you were a ghost. So they would keep bodies in here during the winter time until the ground got soft enough that they could bury them, which is why this place is considered one of the most haunted in America, right?
You got it.
All right.
Right now. Not only did they stack the bodies here, but I found out from an old lady who was standing here taking pictures of her husband over there when there was nothing here. I asked her through this door, I said, have you ever been here before? She says, let me tell you something. She got madder than hell.
Yeah.
And she's taking pictures. She says, we've never been here in our entire lives. But she says, I have dream after dream after dream of that wall over there. And then I come to find out later on, they stacked the bodies there too.
Oh, wow.
And not only here, but a lot of the store fronts, the buildings, they did the same thing.
So this whole area could be like a ghost, or I mean, or what would they call it? Just
let me say this: when you put a body down,
yeah,
and you leave it for a long time, its energy leaves that body, but it'll stay here. This place is packed with thousands and thousands of people.
Wow, wow,
and just not this place, but the whole city.
Wow,
I can tell you where people are buried in the walls.
Oh my God! Yeah, I never thought about that.
They would not allow them to bury them in the cemeteries, and there's like 14 cemeteries around here.
Right. I'm doing a video on the history of Virginia City, and obviously this is a big part of it. But one of the ones they talk about is Julia Beulet and how they moved her grave after they buried her.
I know where she's buried.
Do you?
Oh, I absolutely do.
Did you find? It's still like some sort of.
Do you know where the coffee house is? The red building?
Yeah, down that way.
Okay, you walk past. You go down the street, you'll see a railing out in front of the new bars that they just opened there. You'll see a railing. The next place down, I don't know if anybody's in it now or not. I haven't been there in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But the last time I went by, the guy had moved out.
Okay.
But in his basement, downstairs, and I know this for a fact, he had just tons and tons of furniture and things stuffing the walkway down into the basement.
Oh, wow.
Because she's buried in the wall down there.
Oh my God.
They would not allow her to be buried anywhere.
Right.
And they went back to the mortician, and the mortician, he buried her in the wall.
Wow.
And that's just one body.
And so that's down there by the
coffee house.
The coffee house.
You know that big open space?
Yeah.
Then the red building?
Yeah.
Go past it, go down, you'll see a railing sticking out.
Okay.
And it's the bar, the next place, right after that railing.
The bar.
Yes.
Okay. You remember what the bar is called?
It's brand new to me. I don't know.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you.
I'll see if I can check it out.
But there's a railing down there. If you find that railing in a past life, something happened to me right there. I either got the shit beat out of me or somebody beat the hell out of me. But something tremendous
is happening.
Is
that what brings you back here?
Huh?
Is that what brings you back?
What brings me back is I do the psychic medium, all the stuff. I have the power, if you will,
right,
to see on the other side. I get people that come through.
Oh, interesting.
And I get people.
Have you ever stayed the night up
I've
here?
never spent the night here, but down at Gold Hill,
okay,
I've spent 2 nights down there.
Okay.
Ooh. First time I ever walked in there, you open up the door to the hotel, and I saw tons of children. They're just kids everywhere.
Oh my
everywhere.
gosh.
And every one of them is passed.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Guy works down at the stone shop there. He's got a picture. You walk in and there's a stairwell that goes up to where the office is, or the reception is.
Mm-hmm.
And we took a picture of an orb,
Okay.
And he took a picture after the orb, and it shows a little girl. She's standing right on the stairwell, looking at us like, "Where the hell did you come from?"
Whoa.
And I went and sat with some people, and I said, "Now, we're sitting over here. Is there anything you like?" And it said, "Tea." I said, "It's 2:30 in the morning. We don't have any tea." And the radar thing, they big orb came on it, and it just stopped.
Whoa.
And I said, "Now I know you're here, but we don't have any tea. We don't have anything." And all of a sudden I hear this big bang back of me. There's nothing back there except the doorway, just like this. There's nothing there. I heard this big bang. I said, "Now I know you're back there." And I went, "Hello." And on 3 speakers it picked up, "Hello."
Whoa, that's giving me chills.
I got stories.
Did you do the tour already?
Oh, I've done that tour a couple of times now.
I do it at
But
least
in the
once
past,
a summer.
I've done it when they first started it and such.
Oh, yeah.
Because the upstairs hadn't. The times that I've been up here, they weren't open.
Oh, the upstairs one.
But they're haunted. Have you done one?
I do them at least one a summer, but this time I'm making a video about it.
Okay, good for you. And you know the lady in blue?
Yes, Lena. Yes,
She's
I was
right
just
there.
about to talk to her about her.
Lady in blue is right there.
Oh wow, so that's not a real person, a reflection.
That's a reflection, and it's a reflection from the mirrors that are on the wall out there behind the bar,
Right.
and the reflection.
But nobody was actually standing there.
The guy went up and took a picture of the mirrors and the reflection in the picture that he got. This is what happened, and you can see old timers and other women in there.
Wow. How's it going? So, and then this over here is the original Lady in Blue is her name, and Lena is what they called her, but she was a lady of the night that was murdered actually here in the casino. In the hotel. And I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the silhouette of the blue right there, and that was taken right out there on that stairwell out there. One of the most wealthy courtesans of that time was the infamous Julia Beulet. Julia was loved by the men, but hated by the wives, and was a frequent at the Millionaires Club, attracting many high-paying customers. But she was followed home one night and murdered by the hands of a French drifter named Jean Millon, who killed her for her jewelry in January of 1867. In 1868, Millon was arrested and hanged. Beulet was a controversial character as much as she was loved. At her death, there was a small parade celebrating the life of the courtesan, and many establishments hung pictures of her. She was originally buried in the cemetery, but the local women complained that the women of her profession was not worthy enough to be buried in the Christian and Catholic cemeteries. And the rumor is that the coffin was moved somewhere on the hills overlooking out towards 6 Mile Canyon. By the mid-1870s, Virginia City was the jewel of the Wild West, and also the second largest city on the West Coast, with over 25,000 people. And it was the downfall of many men and women seeking a better life as Americans colonized the West. But it also changed a handful of lives for the better and created many prominent businessmen, politicians, and celebrities of the time, like the infamous Mark Twain, as we mentioned before, who made his name famous by telling folk stories of the South and the American Old West. Or John Mackey, the richest man in the Comstock, or mining engineer Adolph Sutro, the creator of the Sutro Tunnel, which made mining in Virginia City easier and provided for drainage for the water within the mines of Virginia City. Sutro would later become the mayor of San Francisco. Virginia City was a modern American city sitting in the mountains of the Old West that had good times and bad times, as any boomtown of that era. By the 1890s, the water problem in the mines began to prove too much for most mining companies, and all underground mining ended by 1918. Other pit mines operated, but by the time World War II came, all mining in the community came to an end. Today, the main street still holds its Victorian-era buildings, and a lot of the saloons and hotels still hold their Western charm. During the summer and fall, people will come dressed in their cowboy outfit or dresses, giving a nostalgic feeling of what it would have been like to walk around in the Old West. Virginia City can also be accessed by UTVs and is a great place to relax and freshen up after a day in the desert. Anyways, that's all I got for this one. Please don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps out my videos a lot. And thank you for watching. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. I do videos like this on exploring almost every week. Anyways, I got to get on to the next adventure, so I will see you out there.